Hi, it's Loretta here for those of you who don't know me. And today I want to talk about why it is that many of us find being healthy so difficult. Why is health a drag? Why is health like not eating your favorite foods? Why is exercise so awful for some people? Some people seem to do it more effortlessly, but by and large, most people struggle with it when actually physical health is not that complex. We might go, yes, but there's so much conflicting information. But the truth is that we need to eat whole foods. We need to move our bodies every day. We need to drink good quality water, and we need to sleep, and we need to manage our stress. Now, on the face of it, all of that seems very simple. But any of you who've ever been on a weight loss diet or on a program to try and detoxify or to declutter your physical body will know that very often when you're determined, first of all, you only make that decision when things aren't going well in your body. So either because you don't like the way it looks or you don't like the way it's performing. The second thing is that once you decide that you draw the line in the sand and now you've got to do something about it, you harness your will, you pick some sort of program, you generally pay someone else to tell you what it is that you need to eat and how you need to move. I've got nothing against that. I'm just saying that's what we do. And then you harness your discipline, and for 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks or 6 months, however long it takes, you may stick to the program. Now, some of us fall off the wagon before we've reached our goals. And even those of us who stay on the wagon until we've reached our goals, more than 95% of us fall off that wagon. And I say of us because I am in the same position. Now, I personally have a high value on health. So since my late teens, I've essentially drunk the water, done the exercise. I ate worse when I was younger, but not even as I got older, as I got into my 20s, I became much more nutrition aware. As I started working with patients, I started educating myself much more about what we're eating and the quality of it and the energetics of the food. And so I've essentially been at being healthy probably for at least, I'd have to say, 20 years of my life. That's being conservative. That's assuming I only really started trying to get healthy when I was 30, which is not actually true. It was long before that. And even I struggle. I struggle to stay on the wagon completely. And so it's always been a mystery and a puzzle to me as to why it is that it's so hard for us. Why is it so hard for us to do these relatively simple things to keep ourselves healthy? Because we all know that when our bodies are good and we've got high vitality and we've got no friction in the body, so we've got no aches and pains, we've got nothing holding us back, then generally we are more inspired, we are more confident, we are more prepared to go for what we want, we have a more positive mindset, because it's very difficult to have a positive mindset when you are full of aches and pains, all right? So why is it so hard? Well, I think at the root cause of the whole thing is because we have limiting beliefs centered around I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I can't trust myself, I'm powerless, and a whole host of others that are running us compulsively. So we have a lack of awareness of how those things are showing up in our lives. And the reason why we're unaware of it is because a lot of the ways in which they're showing up in our lives, we deem as being really awesome. So a compensatory mechanism or a coping strategy that many people who have I'm not good enough learn is to become high achievers. And every time you achieve, not only you, but the world applauds for you, right? And there's always people going, oh, you are so amazing and you're such an achiever. And so what happens is you've got to achieve more and more and more and more. And the problem is that each achievement doesn't actually repair the I'm not good enough. All it does is it drives you to the next achievement. And because many of these compensatory strategies are actually what we would consider in the world to be complementary and to be what we aspire to. I mean, really, who doesn't want to achieve, right? We don't see them as for what they are. We don't see them for compulsive behaviors that are driving us on autopilot and actually stifling our health and our lives. And so we have to learn to nourish ourselves optimally, but that's not in terms of you need more information on food. You need to learn what it is about you or what it is within you that is actually blocking your ability to nourish yourself. So all of us, no matter where we come from, no matter what our circumstances are, have experienced trauma, all right? And so what looks like trauma for one person might not be trauma for another. But the fact of the matter is, in the first 3 years of our lives, we experience trauma and we learn how the world works from our parents. We learn how the world works from the other people in our environment, and we learn how people are, others are, and we learn how we are relative to those people. And that's how we start developing all those limiting beliefs. And they run us compulsively. So if you follow a spiritual path, especially sort of an Eastern mystical kind of spiritual path, it's about awareness, even mindfulness. In the West, we call it mindfulness. We want to be mindful of what we're doing. Well, in order to be mindful, you need a certain level of awareness. And without that awareness, you're switched on, but you're being driven by your compulsions rather than choosing what it is that you want to create in your life. And because we feel that we need to repair those childhood wounds and those traumas, and we need to fix the limiting beliefs, all we do is reinforce them, because they are not fixable, they're not repairable, and they don't have to be removed. And yes, many of us have had lots of therapy to deal with those issues, and then we still have them. They still show up in our lives. And I believe that the reason why that is because one of the things that we're here to experience is how to be so deeply connected to ourselves. And we are the most vulnerable people in our lives, because everyone else who doesn't like us can get away from us, but we can't. You can't get away from yourself. But how it is that we can parent ourselves. How can we provide that safe world for ourselves? How can we provide the nourishment that we perceived was lacking when we were tiny? How can we provide that for ourselves? And how can we become our own best parent? So that's the first thing. But you're never going to become your own best parent. And you're never going to nourish yourself optimally if you are compulsively being run by these limiting beliefs. So I've spent the last year and a bit thinking, well, what is it that I really do? I know what I do. I teach people tools and techniques so that they can have more inspired lives, transformation. And I've had lots of clients that have had different problems. Some have had health problems, some have had family issues, some have had relationship issues, some have had career issues. And I'm a sort of real generalist, can help because these tools, once you've learned a tool, you can apply it anywhere. But what is it that really, really ignites my passion or my mission and my inspiration? And that is that we all learn to become our own healer, and that we all learn to become our own nutritional expert, and that we all learn to become our own CEO, the CEO of our own lives. Because when we do that, when we can develop a level of gratitude, appreciation, love and connection and intimacy with the relationship that we have with ourselves, that's when we are able to bring that kindness, that compassion, and that empathy, and that connection and intimacy into our relationships with other people. And that's when we start living life on a level of joy and inspiration that is not affected by what's going on in the external circumstances. And that does not mean that we are never going to be unhappy and that shit's never going to happen. That's always going to be a given. But that our bounce back and our resilience is going to be that much more. And that we are not pushed off our course as easily as when everything is unstable in our physiology and our psychology and our emotions. So that's the reason why I created the Full Body Reset program. Because the first thing that happens to us after we're born and we start getting cuddled is we get put onto the breast. And we get fed. And we associate comfort and nourishment with food. And it determines our relationship with food. And food and water is what keeps us alive. And so there are huge clues into our relationship with ourselves in terms of what we eat, how we eat, when we eat, how we speak to ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we nourish ourselves, whether we move our bodies, whether we get enough sleep, whether we get enough rest, whether we take enough time out. And until we uncover all of those things, listen, this is not like digging around in your psyche. This is a few simple techniques to actually uncover the biggest obstacles. And when we learn to do that and we learn how we really can create what we love, which is really not about thinking about it and dreaming about it, I must be quite honest, and being positive and saying affirmations, right? That's actually not how it works, because if that's how it worked, we'd all be doing it, because a lot of us have been doing those things for years and actually they don't work. It is about uncovering what is causing the friction in our lives and learning how we can shift our focus onto what it is that we would love to create. And the body is the perfect tool to help you do this, because your body is the part of you that is never in the past, it's never in the future, it is only ever in the present. It's in the ever present now. Your mind is not that thing. Your body is definitely that part of you that is in the ever-present now, and it's constantly feeding back to you what it is that's going on in your unconscious. Where are the compulsions that are running you? So if you want to not only reset your body, but you want to reset your body and transform your life in the process, then this program might be a great fit for you. The numbers in the program are limited and it is by application only. So if you're keen, click on the link below this video and fill in the application form, and I will get back to you as soon as possible to set up a call. We'll see if this is a good match for you, and if it is, well, hopefully you'll sign up and get ready for the transformation of your life.